Good afternoon, everybody, or rather say good evening, somewhere there in between. Well, having said that, England all out for 205. India makes 24 for 1. Day one of the fourth test. How did it all go? We'll discuss more about it with our experts. But before that, let's see what how's that has in store for us.
क्या आप भी किसी अपने सपने मेरे तुम्हारे टीम 11 पे टीम बना रहे हो और बच्चों के साथ खेल रहे हो? हमारे साथ खेलोगे? हाउस पे खेलो लेजेंड्स के साथ, हमें हराओ और जीतो डबल कैश. Log on to houseit.com and win real cash.
All right, very clearly, where we were discussing yesterday in the preview, that the ball and the pitch was the center stage of the debate. The debate has now shifted to England's batting. Let's see what our experts have to say about it. Boria Majumdar and Rajesh Gupta joining me. Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to the show. And before I start with anything, let me just go ahead with Twitter, where Twitter says we had Michael Vaughan tweeting about England's terrible batting, and not just one, there have been 2-3 tweets about it, where there was a debate from his tweet that stemmed from his tweet regarding the pitch. I'll start with you, Boryada. What are the excuses that England will have now?
None. The simple answer to that question is none. They were poor. They won the toss. They got the best of conditions. It was an excellent toss to win. Joe Root himself said they've got to bat big and bat deep. And then when you win a good toss and you end up 205 all out, you have yourselves to blame. Take a look at the wickets. Mohammad Siraj pinned them back before lunch, 2 wickets with the fast bowlers, ball moving. The Indians bowled outstandingly well. At no point did the English get away from the Indians. There was no extra intent. They played an extra batter in Dan Lawrence. So 8 batsmen and 3 bowlers. So they did everything possible in that sense to try and do it. But unfortunately, nothing worked for England. And that is the real story of this test match. England has been poor. Is the pitch going to progressively deteriorate, Riddhima? We've got to see tomorrow when India bats. And if India gets a big first innings, gets even a 100-run lead on a wicket like this, India has 1 foot in the World Test Championship final.
Right.
Yeah, you're there.
I think I'm having a connectivity issue, just like. But I think I have a luck issue with you on air and my internet, because every time I'm not my internet was just fine.
Either you don't like to look at me, or something goes on, because I will keep saying something about your internet. So the internet has revolted, just like the English batsmen. They have now revolted against Michael Vaughan. You know why? Because Vaughan keeps saying that, no, you guys are good. So they are now determined to prove, no, we are not good. We are mentally scarred. We have lost the battle in the mind. We have still sort of been mentally in that Chennai zone. So Rajarshi, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I always like looking at Boria and listening to Boria specifically. So today, Boria, I must add, you looking dashing in that Indian attire. You know, it's looking anything that it suits you. It suits you. So hopefully we'll see more of that on Sports Today, Boria. Absolutely, Boria. England's backing has been just abysmal, right? What were they thinking? Firstly, that team selection, going in with that one specialist pacer in James Anderson. Obviously, Ben Stokes would have started with the new ball, and he did. They misread the pitch again, clearly. They were cribbing about it after the day-night test match in Motera, where they went in with 3 specialist seam bowlers and that specialist spinner in Jack Leach. Obviously, Joe Root got some wickets, but no excuses. They batted poorly even during the day-night test match, and they batted poorly here. So you take the pitch out of the equation, like Boria has said repeatedly, like Deep Das Gupta, Pragyan, have all said. All three of our experts have said that the pitch debate. It's time to move on. It's time to go past that, and it's just poor batting, poor team selection. Good for them. James Anderson struck early, but these two are quite capable of batting deep and big. And then there's the wanted Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane. It's again, India have set up a nice test match for themselves on day one.
Rajarshi, I think England actually consciously picked this team for 2 reasons. One, they actually thought that they would be defensive because they need that extra batting depth given the way they batted. So I don't think they misread the wicket. They this time knew what the wicket would give them. But they are so nervous, they are so confused, they're mentally so not there that they picked 8 batsmen. Dan Lawrence 7, Ben Foakes 8. So they had basically everybody who was batting fit, they put it in that side. But even then, see what happened? 200 all out. Because mentally you are gone. And once you are gone mentally, it is very, very difficult. Just like Ridhima's internet. Mentally, it's gone the moment I'm there. So that's the problem. No, I mean, England has it here. Unless they solve that, and all India needs is 2 good partnerships. Virat Rohit Cheteshwar, Rishabh Pant, Ajinkya Rahane, and they are playing Sundar. This is a red ball, not a pink ball. So Washington Sundar is a handy batsman. I think one good day tomorrow, and we should start saying India is almost there in the WTC final.
Having said that, of the match that I saw, I think the Indian batsmen did have a game plan. So let's talk about the shots that went in, and of course the 2 batsmen who stood out for them. A little bit of there was positivity from the English batting. So, what did
See, clearly, Rajoshi, as you can see, this internet is clearly mentally sort of problematic as far as I'm concerned. But I got the drift of the question. Basically, she was asking me about the 2 English batters who did well. I mean, Ben Stokes and Dan Lawrence. Yes, they did have a plan. Yes, she's back. Yes, Ridhima.
So continue. You got the question. Yeah. Please continue.
So the 2 batters and Ben Stokes, I thought actually did well because of that banter. So he's also one of those feisty cricketers who, after that banter, started batting well, took the attack to Mohammad Siraj, got boundaries of Mohammad Siraj, and all of a sudden there was some momentum in the English innings. And Dan Lawrence lower down realized that at some point a ball will have his number. So he was trying to be, positive and showing intent and a little bit of aggression. So I like that. Having said that, I will put one point across to both of you. 2012, England beat us in India. Please go check. Anyone who's watching this broadcast on Sports Today, this is for all of you. Please go check that team. Till Matt Pryor, who was batting at 6 and 7, everybody had an average of 40 plus. Everybody. Alistair Cook down to Matt Pryor, everybody had an average of 40 plus in the England team of 2011-12. In this team, only Joe Root has an average of 40 in that batting lineup. Only Joe Root. And here we crib about Ajinkya Rahane not scoring runs when that fellow in 70 test matches has an average of 42. So what does that tell you? This is a poor England batting lineup which manages to look decent when the game is played in England, when their fast bowlers come into play and the games are low scoring. But the moment they are taken out of their comfort zone, that batting unit, take a look at it, none of them except Root have averages of more than 40.
That's a very interesting point. All right, so we've spoken about our about the English batting, but let's talk about where we've done well on that pitch. Our bowlers. Rajashri, of course, England takes confidence with the fact that we lost a wicket there. But having said that, our bowlers did so well. Siraj.
Super.
Yeah, I think there's a network issue again. I think Ridhima, Boria, it was so impressive to see the way Axar went about his business, right? Boria again looked like Axar is living rent free in the English batsman's heads. It's that straighter one that got Dom Sibley out. Mohammad Siraj was brilliant. A lot of us thought that probably Umesh Yadav, who's been exceptional at home, right, Boria? You remember the 2016-17 season? Umesh Yadav was outstanding, but India persisted with Siraj, and there you go. It's figures of 2 for 45, bowled 14 relentless overs, leaked a couple of boundaries and an over of Ben Stokes, but 2 of them were streaky edges. Akshar Patel, as a writer, as a journalist, you would have wanted him to complete that round figure. That would have been such a historic landmark. 4 successive 5-wicket hauls since his debut. Ashwin obviously chipping in that with last wicket. Both the spinners were brilliant, and Washington Sundar did exactly what his captain wanted him to do. getting that important wicket over Ben Stokes. So it was an all round effort, Boria. And also, I would like to understand, Boria. You've interviewed Siraj. You were the first one to interview him after he came back from that tour of Australia. You'd be extremely proud of this lad, the way he's come back, and
I'm
it's
I'm
not
I'm
easy
I'm
bowling
very
on these
happy.
pitches. Yeah.
I'm very happy. I mean, just take a look at this. That Ishant Sharma bowls 9, Mohammad Siraj bowls 14. So that tells you this young man was, look at that, look at that. Ishant Sharma 9, Mohammad Siraj 14. So on and also look at so 26 plus 20, 46 plus 7, 53 overs from fast bowlers and 23 overs from spinners. What does that tell you? 30%, sorry, 53 overs from spinners and 23 overs from fast bowlers. So that tells you 30% overs were bowled by the fast bowlers. So clearly this wasn't a rank turner or a horrible wicket and etc. etc. And Mohammad Siraj getting the ball to move away, getting the ball to come in, that fellow has a huge heart. And the way he runs in, he doesn't get overawed by the big boys of world cricket like Ben Stokes. Absolute champion. I mean, it's so good to see the way he has embraced test cricket. 14 15 wickets in his 5 games, and most importantly key wickets. And the other thing that this fellow has, Rajarshi, is he picks wickets at the top of the order. David Warner in Australia, Joe Root today. So he picks the big men. Manas Labuschagne in Australia. So these are the kind of wickets that Mohammad Siraj is getting for his captain, not the number 10, 11 Jack. He's getting the top order wickets. He's getting key wickets, making very important breakthroughs for his side. Absolutely, I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased with Mohammad Siraj.
Also, I'm finally pleased with my internet because it's working now. Having said that, we've got a couple of questions, and our comment section is buzzing as usual. We've got Meet the Vermas, and by the way, to tell Burida, Meet the Vermas have joined us in our Ask the Expert section, and we got a chance to meet the entire family. They have a question pertaining to today's play about the precision bowling by Anderson, a display of the best piece of fast bowling in the series, accurate and consistent. How difficult is it? Burida?
It is difficult. It is difficult. But having said that, you would want Anderson to pick more wickets if England has to come back in this game. I mean, Shubman Gill missed a straighter one. Hardly any deviation. Umpire's call, hit his leg star. I mean, hit his the other pad, the left pad, and out. So I haven't seen anything to say that this is the Anderson of the Chennai test who will roll us over. So Anderson is a great bowler. I mean, 600 plus test wickets. Come on, he's one of the greatest of our era, perhaps one of the greatest ever. There's no debate. Having said that, are you going to tell me that James Anderson will roll India over and get England back into the game? Obviously, he has the talent, but I have not seen that. I have not seen that or any evidence of that to say that the Indians will find it problematic to bat long against Jimmy Anderson. It'll be a good contest between bat and ball. But at this point, if you really tell me Anderson good, England good, but India, the Indian bowlers. And if you really ask me, I thought Mohammad Siraj was better than Anderson. Mohammad Siraj, a young man, was better than Anderson. Joe Root, that ball, coming in. Twice he had beaten Root with the away-going delivery, almost an edge. Twice to Rishabh Pant. And then he got Root with the ball incoming delivery. Fabulous. So great to see that fast bowlers, good quality swing bowlers, also delivering in Indian conditions. Again, Mr. Vaughan, you are a Secret Service agent for sure, like you tweeted yesterday, but this is also a lesson for you. So please give credit to the Indian team and also comment on the English batsman like you've done today. And don't just keep blaming the wicket.
All right. So, of course, for Anderson to blow out the Indian confidence as of now, the way India is playing is going to be tough. But having said that, if we talk about the banter between Shubman Gill and Anderson, he got him. Which gets me to a question that Sivalingam has asked. Rajashri, your thoughts on it. Why is Shubman Gill struggling to pick Anderson's length? And will it be even more harder in the England series going further?
Yeah, good question.
Rajashri?
Shubman Gill got off to a spectacular start. Look, he played that 91 in Brisbane. I thought it was an absolute stroller of an innings. He scored a half century in that first Test match against England as well. It happens, look, two things happen. Boria would know that better than anyone else. The law of averages will catch up with a batsman who started well. it has happened with the best. It happened with Saurav Ganguly after his hundreds in the first two Test matches. It happened with Azharuddin. So that was bound to happen. And now technology is that much better where you study batsmen all the more. Having said that, yes, does he have? I what I felt was that you've seen Shubman struggle perhaps a tad bit more on Indian pitches, but that is probably also because of the way young Indian batsmen are developed. Coming up the ranks, the young Indian batsmen are developed to play the short pitch deliveries. They're played, prepared for overseas places like Australia, South Africa. That's how they play on bouncy pitches. Shubman has talked about how his coaches have actually pushed him to play the hook shot, the pull shot. Coming back to India for somebody of Shubman's experience, there is an immediate change in length. There is an immediate change in the bounce of the pitch. So it is a master class for him also. He's batting alongside Rohit Sharma. He's batting alongside Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, Cheteshwar Pujara. He learned that. But picking up the lens in Brisbane and on Chennai, Anand Mutera, they're completely different ball games. So it'll you'll have to give that guy a bit of time. What we all agree on is that he has got the talent, but is he picking up that right length on these pitches against very very good bowlers? That is a question that he'll have to address. And Test cricket is asking questions of him, which I'm sure he'll have answers to very soon.
Sure. All right. So let's quickly run to our comment section where we've got Bala Subramanian asking a question, which I sense a bit of sarcasm in, but I don't know whether he means it like that. He's like, how do you think the pitch is played so far?
Decent first day wicket. I mean, if you really see the first day wicket, it's an absolutely fine subcontinental first day wicket. The other thing, Balasubramaniam, is the red ball. I have been saying this on Sports Today from day one. It is also the ball. Most importantly, the ball. Because the pink ball is still a bit of an exotic dessert for these cricketers. They will play the pink ball 7 days a year or 8 days a year. That's all. They will again play maybe in December if there is a home tour or a home test match, or if they go to a country which plays a pink test. So it is not something that they play regularly. But against the red ball, and I'm telling you this, someone like a Cheteshwar Pujara, and I'm telling you because I consistently talk to these guys, always will prefer to play the red ball in test match cricket. They're more accustomed, more confident, more comfortable against the red ball. And that showed. So the pitch was okay. Pitch was absolutely fine as far as I'm concerned. A little bit of turn. Progressively, there will be more turn. That is why it's the first innings wicket. India has to do well in the first innings. England got the best of conditions. They have collapsed again. India does well in the first innings, sets up the game with a 100-run lead. That World Test Championship final is calling us.
Super. So since you've underlined the fact, it gets me to YOLO 21's question. Guys, is the stage set for a big Pujara innings? Is the question that he's asking. And that gets a smirk out of Rajashri, so I'm very happy about it. Rajashri, go for it.
No, why just Pujara? We'd love to see Pujara score runs. Look, that guy was one of your heroes in Australia, and he's wouldn't say struggled. He's not got those runs. Combination of factors. He's not quite got as many runs as he would have liked in India. And why just Pujara? You have Rohit Sharma, who's been in brilliant form. Nearly 300 runs, over 300 runs, I believe, so far in the series. The second highest run scorer. Virat Kohli has not scored an international 100 for over 30 innings. So I would like to see him get past that milestone as well. Ajinkya Rahane, it's that kind of a pitch. Like Boria said, look, a pitch is not, analyzing a pitch is not an exact science. And Boria has got that right more often than not. But if what Boria is saying is right, if it's a typical subcontinental pitch, it should be great for batting tomorrow as well. Forgetting the short selection, also the fact that India bowled brilliantly. Siraj, Ashwin, Aksar, all of them bowled brilliantly. And if India, play the way that we all know, we're all expecting them to, it will be big runs for the taking for a lot of these cricketers. And Cheteshwar Pujara, he deserves a break in India, right? After those gutsy performances in Australia. But what I'd like to see is what also Deep Dasgupta discussed last evening is let's see Virat Kohli get a big one. It's been a while, and he's certainly not out of form. When I say that, I don't mean to say Virat has been out of form. He's got those runs. He's got 70s and 80s. And how about a big 100 now? That would be good to see.
Yep. And we mentioned about the heated moment about Kohli and Stokes. So it works both ways, right, Burida? Well, doesn't it? So we are really looking forward to that. And as these two batsmen are, like, if they're poked a little, that's it. They go all guns blazing. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And I don't find that a problem at all, Ridhima. That sort of adds spice as long as both are not using abusive words. That spicy banter on the wicket, that's fine. I mean, Virat was trying to rile him up and respond, and Stokes was doing the same, and then got a 50. So nothing was sort of crossed the line or crossed the whatever. It was terrific. But just pause a second and see the wickets. See the wickets. Dom Sibley, that inside edge bowled, it's there. It's clearly, I mean, all of us understand it's here. Zach Crawley has hit a boundary of the same over of Axar, then dances down, very Matthew Wade, and tries to hit the left-arm spinner over and gets caught. So every innings, Matthew Wade was doing this in Australia, if you remember. Joe Root, pitch over delivery from Mohammad Siraj coming in, LBW. Take a look at the wickets and you will know that it is not the pitch that got them out. Indian bowlers, quality bowling and false batting. Zach Crawley, false batting. That's what got them out. I mean, Dan Lawrence in predetermined, premeditated shot, dancing down the wicket, trying to deposit Akshar Patel somewhere. Rishabh Pant was there in a flash. Talk about Rishabh Pant, how good he has become as a wicketkeeper in the last game and a half. He's not dropped any. He's done extremely well behind the stump. So it is also there. I mean, keep saying this. I think England has it in the mind on what was a decent subcontinental first day wicket.
Perfect. And I think Navneeta Kannan completely agrees with you and has a very interesting.
Okay. So let's try and see, Rajashi, what Navneet Kannan has for us. If we can get it. Yeah, there you are. Yeah, please tell us.
Yeah. Goes like England won't figure out Aksar's arm ball and Ash's straight ball even when there is 10th test in the series. What's your thoughts on their technique?
That's what I said. I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
Bolia has addressed that already, right?
Yeah. Go on.
Go for it, Raj.
Yeah, go on.
Look, he said it was more in the mind. It's so much about the mindset as well of the English batsman. That was a straight delivery. Look at all the dismissals in the third test match, the day-night test match, that most of them were straight deliveries. Even now, the shot selection, you saw the way Zach Crawley got out. You saw a lot of the way these other guys got out. Obviously, Siraj was the only pacer to get those 2 wickets. Johnny Best on Joe Root. But absolutely, it was also poor shot selection and poor application from England's batsmen again. And this is something that they want to take a long, hard look at and rectify in the second innings if they are still in the game. That is, and hopefully for them, India wouldn't bat them out of this test match by that time.
Okay. So since we're 22 minutes in the show, I think this is the time where we ask this question. What do you think is going to be a good total on this particular pitch, Buryada?
300 India will win. I mean, if they get a 100-run lead on a wicket which will progressively start turning and bouncing, there were some balls. There was an Akshar Patel ball which pitched, turned, and Rishabh caught it here. So if you really see, there was a puff of dust there. So progressively from day 3 onwards, this will be a wicket which will start assisting spinners more and more. Deep Dasgupta in his pitch report said one end was considerably more dry than the other end. The Adani end was more dry than the Reliance end. So obviously the spinners will get more advantage from that end. So I think this is a first innings game. India will not want to chase more than 100 in the 4th inning. So if that is the case, I don't give England more than 250 in the second innings on a day 3 wicket. So if India gets 300 and gets a lead of 100 runs tomorrow, I think it's India in the driver's seat big time, and the World Test Championship is only a stone's throw away.
All righty. Now with that, I have a very important question by Divya Agarwal, and I think it is the most important question in today's times. Why does Kohli not win tosses? Is the question, gentlemen. Do we have an answer to this? Can we do some magic, some call out to the gods?
I was seeing this, Divya. And he has actually won 28 tosses out of 60 as captain. So if that is the case, he has actually lost 32 and won 28. That's not too bad a stat. MS Dhoni had won 28 and lost 32 tosses. Same with Virat Kohli, 28 toss wins and 32 losses. So that's what? 45% win, 55% loss. That's okay. And my point is, if from here India goes on to win the test match, think about the kind of celebrations for us. We have lost the toss. England had the best of conditions. We've still beaten you, and we have beaten you 3-1. That's the statement. So I'm okay with this actually.
Yeah. As long as the win percentage is higher. Doesn't matter if you're winning tosses or no. All right. Having said that, we've got another question by Anant, and I think it's a very observant question. He goes like, for the first time since Rohit started opening in Test, this is the first time he started from the non-strikers end. What might be the reason behind it? Gentlemen, Rajashri, Burida, I think
Rajesh, bolo?
Yeah,
Rajashri's expression says it.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting take, right? Rohit Sharma might have just decided, listen, I'm the senior pro, Shubman, go on, get on with it. Because you've had these instances, right? We don't know what was the talk in the dressing room. Boria, I'm sure, will speak to Rohit and the team management sometime after the test match, get to figure out what really happened. That's an interesting observation. I was wondering the same when Anderson set Shubman Gill up and pinned him then on his pads to get his wicket. Rohit Sharma's expression was like, "Oh God, did that have to happen?" Seemed a little on those lines. Yeah, but going back in history, it sometimes has happened. Where the senior cricketer has sometimes asked his more junior partner to go and take strike. There's been a couple of funny stories around the Tendulkar Ganguly partnership, and Boria would tell you more about it, where Sachin always got sort of to take first strike. So you've had those instances, but that's a very interesting observation, and we'll have to figure out some more numbers around that and see what has happened with Rohit and how many times he's actually started off at the non-strikers end.
Okay, my 2 bits on that. I mean, Rajarshi mentioned the Sachin Saurav incident. I'll tell you the Centurion incident of 2003. Sachin Tendulkar actually took strike, told Virender Sehwag, I will take strike, and generally used to bat number 2, but that particular occasion he didn't take strike, number 1. Number 2, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think Shubman was out to a duck to Ollie Stone in the second over of that particular test match, sort of shouldering arms. So was it a bit of a superstition to tell him, you were out second over, shouldering arms, LBW, go take first strike and try and see if this works for you? That could have also been a case, because cricketers are extremely superstitious. So there can be multiple permutation combination just to ease Shubman Gill. Obviously didn't work. So, but that could have been the case. But at some point in time, I'll ask Rohit. I mean, and Rohit will come up with an interesting explanation, always does. But the fellow is looking superb as an opener. Remember how many times we had said this to you, that Rohit Sharma from Australia was looking good, looking good, looking good. He was getting out. Bowlers weren't getting him out. And look at what he has done this series. Once again, if this fellow scores big, and he can score big on any wicket, he will set it up for India.
And an example of how to play on the pitch. With that, moving on, we've got Meet the Vermas along with another question, and talking about, he's saying, can we have a word on Pant? He's been great behind the stumps and has been keeping so well to bowling. Also, he's a lot more engaging when compared to folks. How does that impact a team's momentum?
Pressure has gone. He's not under pressure every time that he walks out, that he will be compared with a Saha or a Dhoni or a somebody, and he's under the scanner every single time. He's now at ease with himself. Australia has done that to him. He now knows that one dropped catch doesn't mean the guillotine will be on one's head. One bad show doesn't mean Ridhima will say that, oh, Boryada, you know what, internet, this is, you get out. Or Rajoshi will say, don't come. So all of us are in a comfort zone in our lives, and that's when the best comes out of us. That's how it is for Rishabh Pant. He's a 22, 23-year-old kid. So a young man who always was under pressure. Always, every single time he would walk out, and people would say, keeping nahi aata hai, ye nahi aata hai, wo nahi aata hai, phalana nahi aata hai. So all of a sudden, he has started to keep well. Look at the stumping, fantastic. Look at some of the takes above the head, the way he jumped that wide of Mohammad Siraj. Tremendous wicket keeping, because and that's why I keep coming to this. Mentally, Rishabh Pant is right there in the game, and England is not there in the game, which is what is showing every time the two teams walk out.
Perfect. Well, gentlemen, I think it's time to wrap up, and very quickly, quick predictions, even though it's not predictions, quick take on how do you think India is going to take forward day 2? What do you gather of the pitch and England's attack? What are the predictions for day 2?
Okay. If I go first, my point is India has enormous amount of time at hand. They will know that one good batting day will get them there. So they will bat with a positive frame of mind with Rohit Sharma. The advantage is whatever wicket, whatever condition, whatever bowling attack, that fellow will score. So that's the good thing about Rohit, Virat, Ajinkya. They are all good scorers. So they will do that. So India will know that this is a first innings wicket. They have got to bat fourth. So they know the importance of the first innings. So they will approach it like that. England has the off spinner also in Dombes, but day two will not be day four. And again with the red ball, I'm telling you, the Indian confidence in the batting confidence will be 200 times more than the pink ball test. So I expect a good batting day from India and hope they will take control.
All right, Rajeshri, your thoughts on it? Day two?
Absolutely, look, I agree. And the first hour will be very important. Rohit Sharma can make England pay for any mistakes. And Anderson bowled a brilliant first over to Shubman Gill, but there's very little margin for error for pacers on this pitch. Well, Mohammad Siraj showed you he was absolutely brilliant, and Boria made that nice point, and I agree again that he said Siraj was more impressive than Anderson in that even in that short spell. Pujara, he gets going, and we all know what he's capable of doing. The Indian batsmen are just going to love batting around him. And you have Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, Rishabh Pant. So there are 3 or 4 batsmen who can score really aggressively. They like to keep the scoreboard moving. And around Pujara, that will be a phenomenal batting performance, and that is what we hope for. That is what you, as Indian fans, you'd also want to see against against a bowling attack, which we now agree is being a little defensive in search of a draw. That's where they're playing that 7 extra batsmen. So Joe Root would hope that they don't have to pay too heavy a price for that on the second and the third days.
All right. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. Thanks a lot for your time, for joining us on Sports Today. Thank you, everybody. Even though it was India's day, my highlight was Burera subtly putting in that in spite of the internet connection, I keep my job intact. But having said that, I apologize for the technical glitch. And of course, day two, big Indian bowlers have done the job. The batters are take center stage. So stay tuned as we'll see you post the match.
No. I didn't say that. I said, if I do a bad show, Riddhima will still have me. That's what I said.
Oh, we're still live, is it?
Listen, let me make this public proclamation as the editor. You are Miss Sports Today, internet notwithstanding. No one takes that away.
100%.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone, for joining in.